Part 7. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 61. The arrival of Zhang Cheng and Su Yao filled the whole reception with a sense of subtlety. It's not that they didn't know that the Su family and the Song family were feuding, and there was even no possibility of reconciliation. The Song family sent an invitation letter to the Su family, which is worth thinking about. No matter what, the Song family and the Su family are the only 8 billionaire business families in the Magic City. Others are either fearful because of their power, or their assets are only lower than those of the 8 companies. In short, this is a collision between two forces. No matter which one is taken down, they can make a certain profit from it. Just like the Zhang family fell, all the families in the Demon City benefited. Mr. Su, you are welcome to come here to attend the small cocktail party we are hosting. At the same time, Song Yiwei, as the heroine, officially appeared for the first time. She wore an off-white long skirt with a shallow V-shaped neckline. The silky and smooth skirt perfectly highlighted her temperament. Her mid-length curly hair fell naturally. Under that hair, a delicate oval face is so graceful, and a pair of eyes sparkle with a touch of confidence and arrogance. Comparison between Song Yiwei and Su Yao. The former has a very confident temperament. Although his eyes are smiling, his pride is not weak at all. The latter's aura is elegant, expressionless, as clean as daffodils, noble and elegant. President Song invited her personally. Wouldn't it be rude if I didn't come? Su Yao had a smile on her face and looked at Song Yiwei without any sign of weakness. As for Zhang Cheng on the side, he is more like a supporting role between the two at the moment. Song Yiwei didn't even look at him. Mr. Su and Mr. Zhang, please feel free to do so. I have to go in to entertain a few guests, so it's not convenient for me to chat with you two looking at each other for a few seconds. Song Yiwei suddenly smiled softly. Su Yao nodded. She didn't come here to fight with the Song family. It was more about business disputes between them. After Song Yiwei left, Su Yao looked at Zhang Cheng again, looking questioning. Zhang Cheng shrugged and said casually, "Everyone finds his own thing to do. You are so clinging to me. Do you want to go back and warm my bed tonight? Then we have to decide first, should we go to your place or mine? Is it inconvenient for you to cycle? Haha, you can play by yourself. I'll go talk to Enran and the others." Su Yao gave him a beautiful eye roll, so sometimes, she couldn't tell what Zhang Cheng was thinking at all. Zhang Cheng watched her leave, and soon he found a place to sit down. Tonight's topic hasn't appeared yet, so there's no need to waste any time. Isn't this Mr. Zhang? Why are you so free to come here to attend the cocktail party? Are you not going to accompany your little girlfriend in the bar? Not long after he sat down, a familiar voice sounded in Zhang Cheng's ears. Looking up, he saw Song Qing walking towards him with a wine glass in hand and a smile. Zhang Cheng smiled slightly. "Hey, it seems that Mr. Song is in a good mood. Does the 700 million painting still look good?" Song Qing heard this, her smile suddenly stopped and she snorted coldly. "Stop talking nonsense here, don't forget your current identity." Zhang Cheng raised his eyebrows and said calmly, "My identity? My identity is more noble than Song Shao." Just as the two were bickering, Bai Fei also came over and interrupted Song Qing's attempt to flatter Zhang Cheng. "Young Master Song, I wonder when the miracle doctor will come out." Then he turned his head and said to Zhang Cheng with a smile, "Mr. Zhang, how are you doing lately?" "Fortunately, Mr. Bai seems to be doing well," Zhang Cheng responded with a smile. "Young Master Bai, the reception is about to start. You'll be out soon," Song Qing said quickly. Bai Fei nodded slightly. In fact, as a rich second generation, he couldn't see Song Qing humiliating Zhang Cheng like this, so he came to interrupt Song Cheng. But for Zhang Cheng, it doesn't hurt to let Song Qing say a few more words. Anyway, after the cocktail party, Some of him felt desperate, so don't think that you are ignoring him just because you have a good temper. He even remembered Song Qing's hatred for causing him to pay more than 100 million yuan to take over the villa. If Song Qing is asked to pay back 10 times, then he must pay back 10 times. Now just with the bunch of clues in his hand, Zhang Chengdu is enough to put Song Qing in jail. Zhang Cheng looked to the side and found Lu Feng there with a group of rich second-generation people having a drink. Similarly, Lu Feng also noticed him and gave him an inexplicable smile. Withdrawing his gaze, Zhang Cheng ignored them. Tonight's theme is that the Song family wants to push Ye Tian into the wealthy circles of the Magic City and rely on him to create a complete chain of interests. At the same time, Ye Tian will also show off his superb medical skills, using silver needles and the qi he cultivated to treat an old man with inconvenience in his legs and feet. In order to achieve the purpose of building momentum. As time passed by, the atmosphere in the hall gradually became lively. 9:30. Several figures walked down from the second floor. The leader was Song Yunzheng, followed by Song Yiwei and Song Qing, and walking down the stairs side by side with him was a young man with a handsome and resolute face. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. Is this the young medical god who has recently been rumored among the rich circles of Shanghai? Looking at Ye Tian, Zhang Cheng's lips raised slightly. Finally, official meeting. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 62. Even though I had a quick glance at him in the bar, it was still like meeting a passerby. Although Ye Tian has not done anything harmful to himself so far. But if he doesn't stop the development of things, he will go to jail along with Su, and he is still a student. Now it seems that he has entered the world of rich people, but later he will still go back to school to pretend to be cool and slap in the face to pick up girls. Not to mention Lin Qingjian, not even his little cousin can escape the clutches of the devil. And Ye Tian is not just a good person, he can also do whatever it takes to achieve his goals. After thinking about it, Song Yunzheng and others had already gone down to the hall. The entire hall is very large. In addition to the rich second generation, there are also many company CEOs and even some people from the older generation appearing in the hall. Given their status, they had no time to come when Song Yunzheng held a so-called cocktail party like this. If a medical god hadn't appeared, would they have come? Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend the cocktail party held by my Song family. Originally, my old life was going to be handed over in 1 or 2 years, but just some time ago, a man showed up. He only spent 3 days. In a matter of days, my stubborn illness was almost completely cured. And just now on the second floor, Ye Xiao performed acupuncture on Mr. Dong. After removing the needle, Mr. Dong's leg disease actually showed a tendency to improve. It is not an exaggeration to say that Ye Xiao is a little miracle doctor. The people present couldn't help but nodded in agreement. They basically knew about Song Yunzhen's condition. Otherwise, the company would not be handed over to Song Yiwei in a hurry. And what surprised them was that in just 1 or 2 hours, Mr. Dong's leg disease actually improved after he applied the acupuncture. Who is Mr. Dong? He is a top figure who has retired from a high position. Who dares to make fun of him? All this shows that this may really be a little miracle doctor worthy of the name. Suddenly some wealthy people with hidden diseases became secretly excited. Today's reception is nominally to celebrate my recovery and my ability to live for a few more years, but more importantly, I want to thank him in front of everyone present. This little miracle doctor is the young man standing next to me, named Ye Tian. You may not look old, but the medical skills passed down from your ancestors are very effective. This 50 million is my thank you fee for him, but at the same time, I also want to announce to everyone that Ye Tian will be a distinguished guest of my Song family from now on. If I have offended you in some ways, so I hope you will give me some face. Song Yunzheng laughed loudly. After hearing his words, most of the people present smiled kindly. If you really offend them, they will not care about the Song family's face. Having the name of this medical god is enough to give them face, right? Then we take this opportunity to get together tonight, talk about things, and relax as entertainment. Well, we are getting older and talk more, so I will go inside to drink tea first. Everyone continue. After Song Yun's Hung finished speaking his thoughts, he walked into the living room, and there were several old people who went in with him. After the reception was introduced by the organizer, it was just like before. In fact, it is said to be a cocktail party, but it is actually a gathering where a group of people take the time to sit down, talk about things, and expand their connections. After Ye Tian came out, he did not follow Song Yun's Hung in, but was pulled aside by Song Qing and others to chat. If the old people want to see Ye Tian for medical treatment, they naturally have to go through Song Yunzhen's process. This is also their default rule. When the Song family introduced Ye Tian, they sold favors to Song Yun's Hung first. Brother Ye, come, let me introduce you. This is young Master Bai Fei, and this is young Master Luo Lizi. They are both famous rich second generations in the Demon City. Song Qing pulled Ye Tian to a place small circle, and then introduced him. Mr. Ye looks very young. Don't you know what his family does? After the introduction, Bai Fei was the first to ask. A smile appeared on Ye Tian's face and he said, I am an orphan. I studied medicine with my master since I was a child. I am still a senior in college. A flash of surprise flashed in Bai Fei's eyes. Senior year? Haha, that's good. You're quite young. Bai Fei couldn't help but be a little disappointed when he heard that Ye Tian was still a senior in college. He probably studied medicine for real, but being able to cure Song Yun's Hung was probably a coincidence. Hey, Lao Bai, don't look down on young people. If you really want to do it, people like you will punch them one by one at this time. The young man smoking a cigarette on the side couldn't help but sneer. Huh, Bai Fei was a little confused. Let me tell you. Then, the young man revealed what happened in the bar that day, but he modified it for Song Qing, otherwise it would be immediately exposed how embarrassing he was. After listening, the dozen or so people in this circle couldn't help but be a little surprised. They didn't expect that Ye Tian, who looked thin and frail, was so powerful in combat. Ye Tian looked at the surprised looks in everyone's eyes and was also a little proud. Although he had been squatting behind him all night, he didn't show it to himself. Lu Feng, were you in the bar that night? However, Song Qing felt a little ashamed. After all, it was true that he was almost beaten. Nonsense, I'm just watching the twerking on the dance floor. You're making so much noise over there, why can't I see you? Lu Feng sneered. Ye Tian's eyes flashed when he heard Song Qing calling the young man's name. Isn't this the name of the rich second generation who, when he was performing acupuncture on Mr. Dong on the second floor, he vaguely told himself that he had an unfinished project that was about to change? And according to what Mr. Dong said, he told himself to try his best to buy it, because there may be policies in place soon, and then this unfinished project will become a treasure. Originally, he was worried about how to find an opportunity to get close to Lu Feng, but he didn't expect that he was actually here. It really takes no effort at all. Thinking of this, Ye Tian suddenly smiled and said to Lu Feng, Young Master Lu, I want to ask you something. Is it okay? Lu Feng glanced at him and said depressedly, What's the matter, just ask. I wonder if Mr. Lu would like to transfer the unfinished project in Wenhong district to me. We can discuss the price. When he finished speaking, Lu Feng's smoking movement suddenly stopped. What Zhang Cheng said to himself before echoed in his mind. You and I cooperate, otherwise someone will definitely come after you for your unfinished project. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, floating like sand. Chapter 63. Lu Feng was shocked and happy under the impact of this blockbuster news. What I'm happy about is that I can actually eat meat by following Zhang Cheng. What's surprising is how this person can know everything in advance, even including the scene before him, he can know it in advance. And he also knew that if he had not met Zhang Cheng, he would definitely choose to kill Ye Tian at this time. But a week later, he will regret it extremely. Lu Feng showed no emotion on the surface, but earth-shaking changes took place in his heart. He took a deep drag on the cigarette and glanced at Zhang Cheng, who was drinking alone. When he saw the smile on his face, he quickly averted his eyes. Lu Feng grinned, "That's a worthless place. What are you doing here?" Ye Tian said without changing his expression, "I can use that area to develop a pharmaceutical factory. Mr. Lu also knows that I am a Chinese medicine practitioner and I have a few prescriptions that are suitable for the public, which can be used to develop some of my own industries." Lu Feng sneered secretly, "Developing a pharmaceutical factory in Shanghai? Don't you know that with the rapid development of Shanghai in recent years, these factories can still be approved? Most of the existing factories are concentrated in 2 districts. If you develop in Wenhong district, even if you have someone above you, you can't get the approval. Then I wonder what price you can give." Although the project was said to have been completed halfway through, "I still invested 700 million in it," Lu Feng said calmly. Seeing that he was planning to take action again, Ye Tian was secretly happy. There was a chance. "I don't have much on hand, but I can still spend 600 million. If Mr. Lu is willing to sell at this price, then Ye Tian, owe Mr. Lu a favor." Ye Tian pretended to mutter, and after a long while he gritted his teeth and said, 600 million plus the favor of a miracle doctor." Lu Feng couldn't help but click his tongue. If he hadn't realized that this wasteland was as valuable as Zhang Cheng told him, he might have actually taken action. "It's a waste of money, but I have saved some pocket money recently. I just wanted to invest another 200 million to complete this unfinished building and let it stand. Maybe the value will increase in the future." After he finished bidding, Lu Feng immediately smiled. "I have a dark heart. 600 million is exchanged for a business center worth hundreds of billions in the future. If this is taken down, I will be really guilty." Seeing the 2 people chatting about business here, several rich second generations were a little confused. Didn't Ye Tian have a lot of money recently and no place to spend it? Lu Feng actually wanted to buy the land. "Master Ye, if you want to develop a pharmaceutical company, I have several pharmaceutical factories under my control. If you want, I can transfer them to you at cost price, with equipment and employees." Luo Lizi, who was sitting next to Song Qing, was thinking about what to talk to Ye Tian. When he saw that he had a chance to talk, he immediately spoke. "Thank you very much, Mr. Luo. Let's talk in detail when we have time." Ye Tian couldn't refuse when he saw this. The Luo family is also a top wealthy family in the Magic City, so it would be good to get on the line. As for Lu Feng, there is still some time to take him down. Once he shows off his medical skills, he will naturally get close to him. Moreover, it is a piece of wasteland. If he gives more when the time comes, he probably thinks he has made a profit. Zhang Cheng didn't pay too much attention to what happened here. Seeing that Lu Feng had understood what he had said before, he let him deal with Ye Tian by himself. "Zhang Cheng, we meet again." Suddenly, a slender figure walked towards Zhang Cheng, said hello with a smile and sat down. Zhang Cheng turned around and smiled faintly. "Young Master Qin, are you free to come over here?" The person who came was none other than Qin Ming, who came to him after the auction. Wearing a white tuxedo, the handsome and confident Qin Ming was sitting on the sofa next to Zhang Cheng with his legs crossed. "It's okay. I heard there was a lot of excitement here, so I came here." Then Qin Ming said a little playfully, "But what I didn't expect was that you actually cooperated with Lu Feng to develop that site. This makes me a little surprised. Originally, I wanted to cooperate with you to take over Lu Feng's unfinished territory and develop it. I didn't expect that you actually knew this inside information in advance. Although Qin Ming regrets that he lost the opportunity to make a lot of money, he can also gain some benefits by continuing to have a good relationship with Zhang Cheng, who is about to rise. In the book, the reason why he had an irreversible conflict with Ye Tian later was entirely because Ye Tian tricked him. In the end, it also led to his imprisonment. It's not bad. I heard someone mention it by chance, so I went to work with that guy Lu Feng. Zhang Cheng shrugged and did not deny it. Although he doesn't like Qin Ming either, he is still willing to have some beneficial dealings with him. After all, Qin Ming's status is not comparable to that of a billionaire group. We will work together next time if we have a chance. Qin Ming nodded and did not dwell on this matter. After chatting with Zhang Cheng for a while, he went to deal with the rich second generation who came to toast him and make friends. Not long after, a voice suddenly silenced everyone present. Everyone, please be quiet. I want to announce something here. A middle-aged man walked onto the stage, holding a microphone in his hand, and spoke loudly, and his voice spread throughout the hall through the loudspeaker. After our many studies, the Long Group and the Li Group have decided to establish a tripartite strategic alliance with the Song Group. The presidents of the three major groups will personally attend the signing ceremony the day after tomorrow. As soon as these words fell, the whole place fell silent. Everyone couldn't help but be stunned. In the past, the 8 major enterprise groups worth hundreds of billions in Magic City worked independently, but now the 3 major enterprises, Long, Li, and Song, actually signed a strategic alliance agreement. The Magic City is about to change. After the news came out, Su Yao's face, which was still communicating with some people, changed even more. The Long family and the Li family were both relatively close to their Su family, but now they suddenly announced an alliance with the Song family. That means that I will experience 3-party oppression in the future. Could it be that the role of a miracle doctor can really make a billionaire company go out of its way to please him? The Su family is also going to end. Su Yao thought too much at this moment. She felt that the CEOs in front of her looked at her differently. At the same time, Zhang Cheng raised his head playfully with a smile. The 3 families of Long, Li, and Song have come out. Will anyone else jump out next? My appetite is not enough for this little person. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 64. The 8 largest $100 billion family businesses in the capital are, Zhang, bankrupt, Song, Li, Long, Huang, Lin, Su, and Tang. Now that the Zhang family has gone bankrupt, there are only 7 families left. Zhang Cheng traveled through time not only to resist the persecution of the protagonist Ye Tianfu in the future, but also to try the feeling of reaching the top. Annex the 7 families. No matter how bad things go, he will seriously injure the vitality of the 7 families and leave him alone. Don't villains have to be ruthless? Then be cruel next time. If you want to do something, you have to do it to the maximum. This is consistent with the villain's counterattack. Anyone who goes against me will eventually be destroyed. It seems to be a bit of a hit. Zhang Cheng's eyes were filled with light, and all his scheming was no match for his omniscience. And I happen to be the latter. Mr. Su, I have something to deal with here, so I'm leaving first. I also have something to explain, Mr. Su, I'm sorry. Me too. After the people from the Long Group briefly explained the breaking news, everyone couldn't calm down for a long time. Then everyone who was still chatting happily with Su Yao was now looking for excuses to slip away. There's nothing I can do not to slip away. We were talking about cooperation, but suddenly Song did this. The Song family and the Su family have been hostile for decades. There is no possibility of peaceful development in the business battle between the two. No matter how great the benefits are, they will not take them. They are in a situation where I will not stop until you die. Now that the Song family has united two families of the same level, if they don't suppress the Su family, the entire demon city will not believe it. The most important reason for the three families to unite is that the miracle doctor is a vital help to the elderly of the two families, and the Song family has absolutely promised that after suppressing the Su family, the benefits will never be too much, and the two families will definitely get the lion's share. At this moment, they finally understood why Song invited Su Yao to the reception. It turns out that the purpose is to let Su Yao understand that the crisis of your Su family starts from this moment. Everyone looked at Su Yao with gloating eyes. Some people who had cooperated with the Su family were also considering whether to sever ties with the Su family. However, I still have a chance. There are still 4 of the 7 families. If I pay some price, I may be able to attract 2 of them to my camp. Haha, it turns out that this is how it feels when pressure suddenly comes. Su Yao felt a little desperate. It's not that she doesn't have the heart to resist, but that hundreds of billions of companies must have a common market. If the 3 companies join forces and squeeze out at the same time, the Su family will inevitably be shattered. Zhang Cheng at that time must have also experienced this kind of spread of despair. No, he may be in more pain than himself. He handed over Zhang in person. Su Yao remembered Zhang Cheng's despairing and colorless eyes when he went to pick him up that day. Thinking of this, Su Yao's beautiful eyes that suddenly lost their expression looked at Zhang Cheng involuntarily. Looking at Zhang Cheng, he seemed like a lonely figure isolated from this occasion. For some reason, she actually found a ray of excitement and expectation in this man. What is he excited about? What is he expecting? Hey, the Song family's sudden attack seems to have been premeditated. Lu Feng was also a little shocked. Looking at Song Qing's proud look, he couldn't help but smile. What kind of premeditation? I just suddenly found a cake. We, the Song family, couldn't eat it alone, so we asked the 2 of us to eat it together. Song Qing raised her head, her proud tone unabashed. Ha ha ha, don't say anything anymore. Follow Song Xiaoqian and you will have meat to eat. At this moment, Huang Wei jumped out again, slapping his farts crazily. Song Qing immediately felt extremely useful. At this time, Qin Ming, who had finished the social activities, returned to Zhang Cheng's side and sat down. He took a sip of a glass of red wine and said with a smile, "It seems that the Su family has come to an end. We fought to the death with the Song family for decades, and finally the Song family ended the match with the little miracle doctor as their trump card. Tisk, tisk, what a pity." Zhang Cheng glanced at him slightly but said nothing. He didn't know why Qin Ming was so proud of being here. If the Song family squeezed out the Su family and went bankrupt, Qin Ming would go to jail for provoking the little miracle doctor. What a fool. Zhang Cheng looked at Su Yao and squinted his eyes. Sister Yao, it's not that I don't want to help you, I'll make you despair for a few days first. He knows all the business information of the Long Group and the Li Group. For these 7 major families, he is confident that they are not relying on any fair business methods. Well, it's hard to say whether it will end or not. I just don't know how many people will fall to the Song family later. Zhang Cheng took a sip of wine and said with some aftertaste. Master Qin, I have a deal I want to discuss with you. Qin Ming glanced at him with interest and then sat near him. No one was approaching him. Zhang Cheng tilted his body slightly and spoke his thoughts lightly. Join me and overthrow Song Qing in 3 days. As a condition of the alliance, I will give your father a big gift so that he can take a further step in his official career. The faint words rang in Qin Ming's ears. Qin Ming could no longer remain calm at this moment and looked at Zhang Cheng with a horrified expression. His throat was a little dry. Do you know what these words you said mean? Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 65. Zhang Cheng nodded. Qin Ming's father is the second in command in the Magic City, and if he wants to take a step forward, he must be the number one in the entire Magic City. You can imagine how difficult it is to get the top spot with the competition from the other 5. No one from a simple family background can take the second-in-command position in the Magic City. What are you offering in exchange? Qin Ming took a deep breath and spoke slowly. You'll know after a while. Zhang Cheng smiled and did not answer directly. Qin Ming pondered for a while, and after a while he solemnly said, "Okay, I promise you. I will push all this to unfold quickly when I go back. You can produce ironclad evidence when the time comes, otherwise I'm afraid something will happen." Evidence of guilt. "I've prepared it for you a long time ago." As he said that, Zhang Cheng took out a USB flash drive from his pocket and threw it to him. He said slowly, "This contains his evidence for the past 2 years, including the videos he recorded. And some dialogue content. What I want is for Song Qing to sit in jail." Speaking of the latter part, Zhang Cheng's tone was cold. Qin Ming was a little frightened. Zhang Cheng made the Song family laugh for 2 days. If the evidence was enough, Song Qing would be abandoned by the Song family, and it might even be possible to implicate the Song family infinitely. Zhang Cheng was also a little tired of playing at this time. After procrastinating for so long, he had to close the net. Ding. Congratulations to the host for changing the plot and gaining villain value. Add 2000. When he handed Song Qing's club USB flash drive to Qin Ming, the long-lost system prompt sounded again. 40% of the plot has passed, and it has been detected that an important character is about to undergo a huge change. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a copy of the protagonist's skill *1. Note, to copy the protagonist's skills, you can copy the skills of the specified protagonist in this book. After copying the skills, the host will have the corresponding skills with the same understanding as the protagonist. Please use them wisely. Zhang Cheng raised his eyebrows. This reward seems to only appear when the plot changes, including the cash rewarded previously. It seems that because he has been having fun during this time, he has not developed the system properly. Check the skill list of the protagonist Ye Tian. Zhang Cheng thought for a while and said calmly. Then, in Zhang Cheng's eyes, lines of introduction appeared next to Ye Tian not far away from him. Protagonist, Ye Tian, Son of Destiny. Luck, 60. Full level luck is 100. The lower the luck, the fewer opportunities the protagonist has. When it drops to 0, the title of Son of Luck is deprived and the host mission is completed. Attributes, Constitution, 170. Strength, 147. Reactions, 131. Speed, 152. Charisma, 135. Note, the standard for a normal adult male is 100, and the maximum charm value is 149. Skills mastered, Cooking level 7, 7500/8000. Guitar level 4, 4511/5000. Driving skill level 3, 2300/4000. Medical skills. Level, max. After seeing Ye Tian's attribute list, Zhang Cheng felt a little numb. It only took half a month for Ye Tian to fall off the cliff and obtain the inheritance of the god of medicine, right? The span of half a month from a skinny ordinary college student to a physical figure comparable to that of a single soldier is too short. No wonder the protagonists in novels rise so quickly and reach this level without even realizing it. With Zhang Cheng's current physique, even if he activates the suit thug skill, he is barely on par with Ye Tian in one aspect. Zhang Cheng was a little silent. Fortunately, he made arrangements in advance and grabbed a lot of the protagonist's luck and opportunities. Otherwise, with the blessing of 100 luck, Ye Tian would probably have exceeded this value. I scanned his skill list and found that he knew a lot, including some ancient martial arts skills. Copy medical skills. Zhang Cheng glanced at the skill page briefly, and then chose to copy medical skills without hesitation. Isn't Yetian known as the god of medicine? Then come and copy the inheritance of the god of medicine yourself. Skill copying. Ding. The skill was copied successfully. When the system prompted that the copy was successful, Zhang Cheng felt his mind suddenly shake, and an extremely large amount of unfamiliar memories poured into his mind, just like the feeling he had when he traveled back in time. Immediately afterwards, Zhang Cheng felt as if he had mastered an innate skill. He glanced at Qin Ming, and a memory was retrieved from his mind, allowing him to understand Qin Ming's situation. Physical weakness, frequent intercourse, and serious loss of energy. Definite symptoms: kidney yin deficiency, mild symptoms of Lilly syndrome. Cure plan: silver flower, smilax, dandelion. The more Zhang Cheng looked at it, the more he was surprised. Qin Ming looks very elegant, but he didn't expect that you are really a model of human and dog-like. Hualio symptoms. Suddenly, Zhang Cheng couldn't help but sit further away. Qin Ming, who was still in shock, seemed to feel the subtle changes in Zhang Cheng's eyes. When he came back to his senses, he saw that Zhang Cheng seemed to be a little further away from him, and he was a little confused. "Mr. Zhang, why are you looking at me like that? Are there flowers on my face?" Zhang Cheng coughed, looked away, and said with emotion in his tone, "Master Qin, we can't just play with flowers. This kidney yin deficiency needs to be cured as soon as possible. Also, play less recently, you are almost dying of flowers out." His words rang in Qin Ming's ears. Qin Ming was so shocked that his hair almost stood up, and he quickly said, "Fuck. How did you know that? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 66. It was only in the past 2 days that he realized something was wrong and went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor at the time said the same thing. However, this matter was extremely private. How did Zhang Cheng know about it? Qin Ming was a little frightened. What kind of identity was Zhang Cheng now? Why did he even know what happened not long ago? Zhang Cheng smiled slightly. "There is nothing in this world that I don't know. And I also know that you had another double sex last night, right? You look like a dog, but in fact you have weak energy and blood, kidney deficiency, and lack of essence. Have you been feeling pain in your waist recently? Stop it. If you do it, you're really going to be in trouble." Qin Ming's face turned red. He really liked this. Although the doctor advised him to take care of himself for a few months, he couldn't bear it. There are so many 7-point princesses in this club. As the boss, what's the point if he doesn't enjoy them? Ahem, I'll pay attention. Zhang Cheng smiled and said nothing. In fact, he was quite surprised. He didn't expect that with a medical skill, he could know other people's symptoms just by looking at them. No wonder Yetianhui is so popular. He can know the solution at a glance. No one can resist this. You can tell at a glance whether you have kidney deficiency or not. You can tell if you are prostituted or not by just looking at it. With just 3 glances, he will know what kind of medicine to give you, and it will kill you without anyone noticing. Zhang Cheng thought and glanced at the lost Yao Mei again. Well, she is pure, and she is indeed a young lady. Time passed in a hurry, and at 10:30, Song Yun's Hung and several old people, who had been discussing for a long time, had rosy faces and looked like they should be very satisfied with the result. Song Yun's Hung waved to Yetian. Yetian understood, said sorry to the rich second generations around him, and then walked over. "Little friend Ye, come on, let me introduce you. This is Mr. Long Shaowai of the Long family. Next to him is Mr. Li Changtian of the Li family, and everyone has high expectations for your medical skills. Don't let us down, Song Yun's Hung said with a smile. It was worth 10 million in exchange for Ye Tian. Although he may have stayed because he was targeting his granddaughter, it doesn't matter. As long as Ye Tian performs well tonight, within 10 years, a family of extraordinary doctors will appear in the Magic City. By then, he will not only be limited to the Demon City, but will also have a transcendent status in the entire Dragon Kingdom. Ye Tian humbly greeted a few old people, and then asked others to bring some medicines. Seeing this scene, the second-generation wealthy people and company bosses gathered around him, wanting to see what the magic was about this medical god who was so sought after by top wealthy families. Seeing more and more people gathering, Ye Tian's eyes flashed with pride, and he still said modestly on the surface, "Mr. Song, are there too many people?" Song Yun's Hung laughed loudly, sat on the sofa and said matter-of-factly, "It doesn't matter, this can prove your superb medical skills, lest some people in the capital will not be wise enough to provoke you later." Everyone was speechless after hearing this. Indeed, after Ye Tian revealed his medical skills, the top circles in Magic City saw him and basically gave in to Ye Tian as long as it wasn't something too extreme. Just because he has too many connections with top wealthy families. Ye Tian first asked Long Xiaowai to stretch out his hand, and then took his pulse. He closed his eyes slightly and opened them in less than 20 seconds. He slowly said, "Mr. Long has irregular heartbeat, acquired heart disease, and slight damage to the heart structure. The first appearance should be 15 years ago. In these years, he often has tinnitus, chest pain, dyspnea, edema and other symptoms. The causes of this type of disease are more complex and require time to be cured." As he spoke, he picked up the pen and paper again and scrawled a prescription. As long as Mr. Long takes this prescription for a week, the damaged heart structure will be restored and the disease will disappear naturally. In the surprised eyes of everyone, Long Xiaowai actually nodded, "Ye Xiao is right, my heart disease did appear 15 years ago. At that time, I did high-intensity work every day, and then I started to have symptoms such as heart palpitations." Long Xiaowai sighed with emotion, 15 years have passed, and I have a heart attack every day. But it has taken me 15 years, and I have seen many famous doctors in Long Kingdom to no avail. Sometimes, if you want to die, don't be a medicine jar." Ye Tian was confident and said proudly, "Don't worry, Mr. Long, my prescription will be enough to repair your damaged heart structure within 7 days. At that time, I will prescribe another prescription for body conditioning to help your body gradually recover." Seeing his vow, everyone nodded. If Ye Tian dares to lie in front of the top crowd in the entire Magic City, he will have no place in the entire world. Therefore, with the blessing of this situation, their eyes towards Ye Tian became even more intense. "Little friend Ye, why don't you take a look at my situation?" Li Changtian, who was sitting in a wheelchair on the side, touched his grey beard and said with a smile. Ye Tian put down the pen and paper with a shy smile, "Okay, Mr. Li." Arriving in front of Li Changtian, Ye Tian squatted down and touched his legs that had no feeling at all. He took another look at his condition and smiled lightly. Mr. Li's upper limb muscles were paralyzed, and his lower limb muscles were paralyzed due to neurological disorders. He was paralyzed 3 years ago, and lost all feeling in his muscles 2.5 years ago. Am I right? Li Changtian nodded, slightly surprised. Ye Xiao is indeed a miracle doctor. He can even accurately tell the time of paralysis, but there is no possibility of curing my leg disease. Seeing this, everyone was in an uproar again. It is not uncommon to be able to see symptoms, and some capable old Chinese medicine practitioners can do it too. But to accurately tell the year of the incident, I'm afraid not even the few leading Chinese medicine practitioners from the Dragon Kingdom who were imperial doctors in Zongnanhai could do it, right? I can cure him. And I can make Mr. Li stand up again within a month, Ye Tian said with great certainty. Young Master Song, please bring up my silver needle box. Li Changtian was stunned when he heard this, then turned to look ecstatic and extremely excited. Is what Ye Xiao said true? Ye Tian smiled and nodded, confirming, of course, the acupuncture will be administered once a week. After the first acupuncture is completed, Mr. Li will be able to feel the numbness in the paralyzed muscles. Soon, Song Qing took down Ye Tian's silver needle box from the second floor. This set of silver needles was an ancestral silver needle that Ye Tian asked him to collect from an old Chinese medicine practitioner. Although the process was a bit tortuous, he still got it at a high price. Soon, Ye Tian will start acupuncture for Li Changtian. Different from the lively atmosphere here, Zhang Cheng's side seemed very cold. There were only a few people around. Zhang Cheng removed his hand from the wrist of a middle-aged man brought by Qin Ming and chuckled, "Mr. Lin, your body is well maintained. There is no need to prescribe additional nourishing medicine for you. Take this set of prescriptions for stimulating semen. After you return home, you can wait 2 hours before you can fight." Zhang Cheng was confident and said calmly, "After taking this prescription, if your second brother can't do it, I, Zhang Cheng, will withdraw from the wealthy circles of the Demon City." The middle-aged man in front of Zhang Cheng is none other than Lin Minjiao, the director of the Lin Group, who also belongs to one of the 800 billion business families in Shanghai. The reason why he came to Zhang Cheng was because he, the Lin family, was also from a single lineage, but because he was nearly 45 years old and had no descendants left. "Mr. Zhang, are you telling the truth?" Lin Minjiao came to this informal reception this time to meet the miracle doctor and see if there was any prescription for him, ahem. But as soon as he reached the door, he was pulled over by the pale-faced Qin Ming, and then the scene just happened. Zhang Cheng smiled and said, "Does Mr. Lin think that I, Zhang Cheng, will do those deceptions? Some things are not as simple as you think." Looking at Ye Tian, who was surrounded by everyone, Zhang Cheng was leisurely and contented. These days, who doesn't know how to practice medicine? Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 67. Lin Minjiao had deep doubts. Zhang Cheng's movements were strange. He just felt his pulse, and then wrote out a prescription for himself to grab, decoct, and take. But no matter how good the medicine is, can a person produce a large number of children and grandchildren at once? With this kind of prescription, any pharmaceutical company can make tens of billions for fun, right? "Mr. Lin, don't you believe it even for one night?" Zhang Cheng smiled indifferently. That's not true. I'm just a little confused. When will Mr. Zhang know how to heal?" Lin Minjiao shook his head. It's not that he doesn't believe it, but that he doesn't even know Zhang Cheng has medical skills. Zhang Cheng felt a little disappointed. "I have been studying traditional Chinese medicine since I was a child. I studied traditional Chinese medicine with my grandfather for 10 years. Unfortunately, he has passed away. Stop talking, Mr. Lin will find these Chinese medicines immediately when he goes back, and then decoct them and drink them. After 2 hours, if your brother doesn't change and the foam on his vomiting is not thick, I, Zhang Cheng, will come to your door in person tomorrow to apologize. Of course, if the changes are obvious, don't forget to owe me a favor, Mr. Lin." Lin Minjiao glanced not far away, where tonight's protagonist, Ye Tian, was showing off his skills. Then he seemed to think of something and looked deeply at Zhang Cheng. "Well, Lin will trust Mr. Zhang once. If it really works, the Lin family will owe Mr. Zhang a favor." After saying that, Lin Minjiao stood up and left. No one noticed him when he came, and no one noticed him when he left. After Lin Minjiao left, Qin Ming came up and asked doubtfully, "Zhang Cheng, are you really knowing or pretending to be? If Lin Minjiao knows that you lied to him, you will never be able to stay in the Magic City." He was trembling with fear as he watched from the sidelines, but when Zhang Cheng saw the problem with his body at a glance, he couldn't help but be convinced, so he pulled Lin Minjiao over for him. Does Mr. Qin think I can lie? Qin Ming thought for a moment and shook his head. There was no need to lie. Ding. The plot has changed. Congratulations to the host for getting the villain value add 1000. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully amputating the protagonist Ye Tian's chance *1 by copying medical skills. Ye Tian's luck value is -5%. Ye Tian's medical skill level dropped by 1 level. When Zhang Cheng heard the system prompt, he couldn't help but be stunned. Intercepting Lin Minjiao could actually reduce Ye Tian's luck. Can you force him to be demoted? In the plot, Ye Tian and Lin Minjiao became close friends later. At that time, Ye Tian gave Lin Minjiao his previous prescription. Then when Lin Minjiao's wife became pregnant, Lin Minjiao was so happy that he directly gave Ye Tian 10% of Lin's shares. Now, not only did he change the plot, but he also reduced Ye Tian's medical skill level. Thinking of this, Zhang Cheng couldn't help but laugh. Then I won't be polite. Originally I just wanted to slowly do some tricks and let Ye Tianxiao recruit some people, but, since using copy skills to seize the opportunity can downgrade Ye Tian's skills, let's get some limelight. Master Qin, let's go. It's time for us to treat people's illnesses. After saying that, Zhang Cheng couldn't help but glance at the lost Su Yao. Yao Mei, what should I say? This system wants me to help you in advance. There's nothing we can do about it? Let me be your savior tonight. Zhang Cheng felt a little regretful. He originally wanted to wait until the Su family was in turmoil to turn the tide and win Yao Mei's heart. I didn't expect the system to be so impatient to get me to stand up. Qin Ming was slightly startled, and said in great surprise, are you sure you want to attract people in a big way? If it doesn't work, just wait for the entire Demon City's wealthy families to be killed. Although he was not very afraid, the table was full of the top wealthy families in Magic City. Zhang Cheng stood up, his easygoing eyes suddenly became sharp, and an aura of looking down on the world suddenly burst out. At this moment, Zhang Cheng was full of disdain. Kill them all? They can't do it. I treat them, and that's their honor. Do you really think I can't collapse those tall buildings? It's good that he's easygoing, but only if he's in a good mood, but when things get tough, no one wants him to say more than one word. If I give you face, you have to take it well. If I don't give you face, you have to roll aside and take it easy. Seeing Zhang Cheng's sudden change of momentum, Qin Ming choked for words. Facing Zhang Cheng at this moment, he actually felt a sense of fear? Right? The emotion of fear. At the same time, on the stage, Ye Tian, who was about to give Li Changtian acupuncture in front of everyone, his mind blurred for a moment, and he was in a daze for a while, and then recovered quickly. When he looked at the silver needles on Li Changtian's legs in front of him, he was suddenly stunned. Where should I insert this needle? Why is my memory a little fuzzy? Seeing Ye Tian, who was a little hesitant, Li Changtian said kindly, young friend Ye, continue the acupuncture. I can already feel a slight numbness. In these legs that had lost consciousness for a long time, he actually felt pain again today. When Ye Tian heard the words, he tried his best to calm down and took a deep breath. While his memory still had some impression, he no longer hesitated and directly put the silver needle in his hand into Li Changtian's leg. When the silver needle was 1/3 deep, Li Changtian raised his eyebrows, and then said excitedly, I feel it, it hurts, ha 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 ha. However, before he could smile for 3 seconds, a sharp pain instantly rushed through his body. Ah! Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 68. Li Changtian's sudden scream caught everyone off guard. They didn't understand how it could suddenly turn into severe pain when they were told it would be treated in a gentle way. Ye Tian also looked confused, and he didn't know what went wrong. If you insert the pins in the order you memorized, this problem shouldn't occur. After being at a loss for a moment, he immediately recovered and said in a deep voice, "This is a normal phenomenon. Mr. Lee's legs have been unconscious for many years, and the accumulated blood congestion over the years has been opened up in an instant, so he will have the symptom." No matter what happened, he couldn't let others know that he forgot the order of inserting the pins, otherwise the whole day would be over. He was thinking hard about what he had done wrong. Instead of removing a silver needle with his right hand, he grabbed Li Changtian's arm and breathed into his inner energy to help him suppress it. As Ye Tian's inner energy was channeled, Li Changtian's screams gradually weakened. His eyes were a little frightened, he swallowed his saliva and said, "Xiao Ye, will there be this kind of pain in the subsequent treatment process?" It's not that he can't bear it, but the pain travels with the blood throughout his body, and even his heart feels like being pricked by needles. Yet Tian naturally couldn't say that he didn't know clearly at this time. His understanding of the medical skills inherited from the Miracle Sutra was somewhat dissipated, but at this point, he could only lie, otherwise the day would not end peacefully. Follow-up treatment will be more time-consuming, but the pain is only caused by the moment of opening up the congestion. Now I am injecting internal energy to help you clear the meridians, so you don't have to worry, Ye Tian said in a gentle tone, trying to prevent Li Changtian from feeling his lack of confidence. Below, Zhang Cheng almost laughed out loud when he saw this scene. In fact, Ye Tian was only 1 centimeter away from the needle point, but for the wonderful human body, even a half-point mistake would be an extremely fatal problem. If it weren't for the inner qi he cultivated using the exercises included in the Miracle Sutra, Li Changtian would have died due to the reverse flow of qi and blood in less than 3 minutes. Zhang Cheng glanced at it and then looked away. The phone in his pocket suddenly vibrated. When he took it out, an inexplicable smile appeared. Turning his head, he said to Qin Ming, "Young Master Qin, you can activate the relationship and let people raid the club under Song Qing's name now." Qin Ming was stunned for a while, and then said, "Arrange people now." He originally thought that Zhang Cheng would impress him later, but he didn't expect that he would target Song Qing now. "Yes, we are now arranging a raid to collect evidence. When Song Qing learns the news, he will throw out all the dirty properties in his hands, so now is the best time to collect evidence. Of course, it will take a while to completely send Song Qing in. The people in the Demon City alone are not enough, and the people above must add fuel to the fire." Zhang Cheng smiled mysteriously. Qin Ming was stunned, "So what is the purpose of collecting evidence now?" "Oh, by the way," he said, "check." "Okay, I understand. I'll make arrangements now." After saying that, Qin Ming nodded and left. Zhang Cheng couldn't say he was disgusted with Song Qing, but he was disgusted with what he did behind his back. Open a club, set up a casino, and engage in black boxing. If this doesn't involve the underworld, can he, Song Qing, do it? Supporting Wang Hu is the best example. Including the club opened by Song Qing, used to seize the rich and high-ranking officials. Where did those princesses with looks above 7 points come from? Without the following channels, just give money? Impossible. In this world, most of the good-looking princesses in luxury clubs want to be favored by some rich people and then be kept under their care. The rest either take loan sharks and fail to repay them, so they are used as excuses for the loans, demanding physical repayment from them. However, after repaying the money, they were almost useless. They were used to earning high amounts of money. They couldn't satisfy the monthly salary of ordinary employees of more than 10,000 yuan, so they took advantage of the fact that they were still a little young and got rich under the arrangement of the club. Song Qing relied on these people to obtain confidential information from rich people and high-ranking officials, thereby threatening them and protecting himself. After thinking about all this, Zhang Cheng took out his mobile phone again and sent a message to Li Rui, who had been lying in wait for a long time. "Everything is ready. Someone will go there tonight to collect evidence. You should be ready to respond. In addition, a thorough investigation of Songqing will be launched in 3 days. The message was sent successfully. He put away his phone and walked directly to a place. There, sitting an energetic old man in tang suit with black and white hair. Behind the old man stood several strong and powerful bodyguards. Looking at their posture, you could tell that they were from special forces. Zhang Chen didn't care enough about the wealthy families in the Magic City. The reason why he came to the reception in person was because of this old man. Zhang Chen walked over with a smile and stopped in front of the old man. Ignoring the sharp gaze of the bodyguard behind the old man, his temperament was gentle and elegant. "Mr. Zhang? Hello, my name is Zhang Chen. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 69. Zhang Chen was dressed in a slim-fitting tuxedo, with sharp edges and handsome looks, and a gentle smile on his face that made people involuntarily fall in love with him. In front of him, the old man in tang suit also looked at him with a smile, and there was an indescribable kindness on his old face. "Zhang Chen? The one from the Zhang group." Zhang Chen nodded and said, "Yes, how are you doing, Mr. Zhang?" The old man in front of him was named Zhang Chenyuan, and his status was not comparable to that of ordinary wealthy families. This one person belongs to a wealthy family. He is talking about Zhang Chenjiayuan's identity. The top boss who retired from the high position of number 4 leader. As long as Zhang Chenyuan speaks, no one in the entire Magic City business community dares to confront him. "Did you come to see me for something?" Zhang Chenyuan asked. "I saw Mr. Zhang coming over to say hello," Zhang Cheng said with a faint smile. But from the look on Mr. Zhang's face, it seems that Mr. Zhang has been feeling a little strange lately. Hearing Zhang Cheng's words, Zhang Chenyuan was slightly surprised and said, "Oh. Why do you think there is something strange about my body?" Zhang Cheng smiled slightly and said calmly, "I see that Mr. Zhang's left hand is a little trembling. The hand he is holding keeps shaking and he can't hold a fist. His hands are shaking when he is still, and his face is slightly skewed. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Zhang should be suffering from tremor, which is also known as Parkinson's disease in Western medicine." Has the little guy studied Chinese medicine? A look of surprise flashed through Mr. Zhang's eyes. His Parkinson's disease only began to show up during this period of time. And tremor is also the name of traditional Chinese medicine. When Zhang Chen mentioned tremor, he concluded that Zhang Chen had studied traditional Chinese medicine. Zhang Chenyuan is now 78 years old, and there is a high probability of suffering from this disease. Naturally, Western medicine cannot treat this disease, but traditional Chinese medicine has been documented to be able to treat it. It's just that the method of treating this disease has disappeared, at least not by the imperial doctors in Zongnanhai. So when he was in the Magic City, he heard that a Chinese medicine miracle doctor was holding a cocktail party here. Zhang Chenyuan also traveled low-key and came here to try his luck. Zhang Chen nodded, "I have studied with an old Chinese medicine practitioner." The copied skills completely copied the entire inheritance of the god of medicine, so Zhang Chen could see through many difficult and complicated diseases in his mind at a glance. "Well, I have good eyesight. I have Parkinson's syndrome." Seeing him admit it, Zhang Chenyuan also admitted his disease. After saying that, Zhang Chenyuan asked with a smile, "How do you think of the skills of this little miracle doctor on the stage?" His previous injection was at the wrong acupuncture point. Zhang Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. Zhang Chenyuan heard this and said in surprise, "Why do you say this? The previous needle was 1 centimeter away from the correct acupuncture point, and the depth was also wrong. 1/4 of the point that was not covered by the silver needle was the best position, and he inserted a full 1/3 of it, which also caused Li Changtian's 'Why was he screaming?' If he hadn't reacted in time and used his inner energy to evacuate the energy and blood flowing in his body, Li Changtian would have died suddenly within 3 minutes. Listening to Zhang Cheng's orderly explanation, Zhang Chengyuan was completely surprised. Then do you think it's possible for my body to be cured, old man? Taken the bait. Zhang Cheng grinned immediately upon hearing this, showing his white and neat teeth, and answered neatly. Able. On the stage, Ye Tian did not apply acupuncture again at this moment, but relied entirely on injecting his own internal energy into Li Changtian to clear his meridians. Ye Tian couldn't tell how miserable he was at this moment. The inner qi in the Miracle Sutra was extremely difficult to cultivate. He usually mobilized the inner qi to coordinate with acupuncture, which could reduce consumption. By channeling his inner energy to a large extent like this now, the few strands of inner energy he had finally cultivated will be consumed again, and they cannot be recovered. As the inner energy in his danshan gradually disappeared, he had to free his hands to pull out the dozens of silver needles inserted into Li Changtian's legs. I seem to have some feeling in my legs. Ye Xiao is indeed a little miracle. Dr. Li Changtian's heartbreaking pain disappeared and was replaced by a warm air flowing throughout his body, especially his legs. Looking at Ye Tian, who was half kneeling in front of him, his clothes wet with sweat and his face extremely pale, Li Changtian couldn't help but feel a ray of warmth in his heart. What a good boy! In order to reduce the pain caused by that kind of treatment, you are actually willing to pay such a high price. Li Changtian could feel that the warm current flowing in his body was sent by Ye Tian. Although he didn't know what it was, seeing his appearance, he naturally understood that he had to pay a price to achieve this effect. Ye Tian, who was kneeling on the ground, looked at Li Changtian's kind eyes looking at him, and suddenly felt the urge to vomit blood. I just don't want you to die. If he hadn't taken action to draw in his internal energy to disperse the brutal acupuncture energy, Li Changtian would have died in less than 3 minutes because of the reverse flow of energy and blood. When the time comes to kill someone in front of so many people, will he be able to escape? At this moment, Ye Tian's heart felt cold. The inner energy he had cultivated for so long was given to Li Changtian 6 or 7 times in just 10 minutes. He was very uncomfortable now. He clearly remembered how to perform the acupuncture, but in just a moment, he forgot the acupuncture technique. It was as if a mysterious force had erased his memory. What is going on? Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 70. Gradually, cold sweat broke out on Ye Tian's forehead, and his red lips began to turn pale. His arms were shaking. Call. Another 5 minutes passed, and Ye Tian finally stopped what he was doing. He slowly exhaled, Mr. Li, your leg problem will be better after a while of treatment. Now you can try to stand up. Under everyone's puzzled and expectant gazes, Li Changtian couldn't hide his excitement and said, okay, okay. As he said that, he asked someone to hold the wheelchair steady, supported it with both hands, and stood up with trembling legs as if it was very difficult. Seeing this scene, people in the audience were shocked. Really stood up. It's amazing. If Mr. Li hadn't been the founder of Kinyi Group, I would have suspected whether he was cheating. My legs are disabled, and I obviously have no feeling at all, but there has been such a big change in 20 minutes. This is Chinese medicine. Unparalleled medical skills. Amid everyone's surprised comments, everyone's eyes gradually turned fiery towards Ye Tian. The moment Li Changtian stood up, Ye Tian's reputation as a miracle doctor was completely confirmed. Feeling the blazing eyes of everyone focusing on him, Ye Tian, although he was exhausted from exhaustion, still had a look of joy that he couldn't hide in his eyes. Great, my second step plan was completely successful. The process was somewhat difficult and unexpected, but at least it did not deviate from his original intention, and Li Changtian's leg disease showed signs of recovery. These legs were sentenced to death by the imperial doctor, and there was no possibility of cure. but he was cured by himself. Haha, Xiao's medical skills are indeed extraordinary. He achieved such results in just 20 minutes. Song Yun's Hung, who was clutching his heart at the side, was in a very good mood at the moment. With this good start, the status of the Song family in the Magic City will be raised to a higher level. Ye Tian took the water handed over by Song Qing, took a sip, and said humbly, "Mr. Song is too praiseworthy. This kid just inherited the skills of our master. If we want to completely cure Mr. Li, it will take some time, and then cooperate with the life-extending prescription I prescribe, it will be very easy to live another 10 years. Life-extending prescription." This bombshell news suddenly exploded in the ears of all members of the wealthy family, and the passion and greed in their eyes became more and more obvious. They were born at this level and already lacked everything. What they lacked most was life. "Ye Tian, I think you seem to have consumed a lot, so you should go aside and rest for a while." Song Yiwei suddenly appeared, and then whispered to Song Qing, "Little brother, take Ye Tian down to rest." Ye Tian's eyes flashed with admiration, and he nodded lightly. After saying that, Song Qing took Ye Tian back to his original position and sat down. A group of rich second-generation people with fiery eyes immediately gathered around. "You said something, and I started asking Ye Tian how to replenish his kidneys." Ye Tian's eyes naturally couldn't escape the eyes of these venomous old people. They looked at Song Yun's Hung with some envy. This old thing did give birth to a wonderful granddaughter. Why don't I have a beautiful granddaughter? Otherwise, it would be great to let her marry Ye Tian. Old Song, let's talk about cooperation. Recently I have a project in Jinling. Do you want to join a team? Let's talk. I just recently collected a good ancient painting from the Eastern Jin dynasty. Do you want to take a look? Old Song. Looking away from Ye Tian, a group of old people immediately surrounded Song Yun's Hung and were extremely polite. Su Yao saw the scene again from the side and suddenly felt cold all over. She didn't have a very intuitive feeling about the miracle doctor. But at this moment, she saw that those old foxes who were once extremely cunning were now willing to spend a lot of money to please the Song family because of a miracle doctor. She had a deep understanding of this kind of people. Su Yao's mood was extremely complicated. Suddenly, Song Yiwei's slightly charming voice came. I made Mr. Su laugh. The cocktail party suddenly turned into a therapy session for the elderly. I hope Mr. Su won't take it too seriously. Su Yao looked back and saw Song Yiwei, the female president of the Magic City Billionaire Group. She had an arrogant temperament and gave people a feeling that she was unreachable. She was holding a glass of red wine in her hand, her posture was elegant, and she exuded a charming and mature temperament. President Yiwei is good at looking at people. He found a miraculous doctor for the Song family. I wonder what the price will be. Su Yao withdrew her gaze and spoke lightly. Song Yiwei's beautiful eyes moved slightly, and she covered her mouth with a smile. It's just luck, but Mr. Su is not bad either. He took Zhang Cheng down. Su Yao didn't reply to her, but picked up the wine glass and took a sip. At this moment, she finally understood the Song family's intention. Why did the two families, who had always been mortal enemies, suddenly invite her to the cocktail party? But it's useless to understand. She completely lost this time. When the Song family signed a strategic alliance with the Long and Li families, she lost half of it. When Ye Tian showed his almost miraculous medical skills to the wealthy family who came to the scene and revealed the life-extending prescription, he completely lost. After tonight, more than half of the wealthy families in Magic City will fall to the Song family camp. By then the Su family will have completely lost, and various problems will arise inside and outside the group. The best outcome is that the Su family goes bankrupt, retains some wealth and leaves the magical city. The worst outcome is that the Su family goes bankrupt and is burdened with high debts, and he himself will be imprisoned because of the Song family's cruelty. Thinking of this, Su Yao felt an uncontrollable fear in her heart. Su Yao's performance was noticed by Song Yiwei. She became president at the same time as Su Yao. After years of fighting, she was still evenly matched. At this moment, she finally defeated her. All this made her feel very happy. Song Yiwei smiled contentedly and said, "Mr. Su, where is your fiancé Zhang Cheng? Why don't you invite him over for a drink?" Su Yao came back to her senses after hearing this, and was stunned for a while. "Right, where is Zhang Cheng?" Looking around, she soon found Zhang Cheng. When she saw Zhang Cheng, Su Yao's eyes suddenly glazed over. Song Yiwei watched her expression change and followed her gaze with curiosity. Then, Song Yiwei's smile froze. Why would Zhang Cheng do the same?